What prophetic significance does the little horn Antichrist, the Vatican, have with the state of Israel and it's celebrating its 75th anniversary of its independence this past May 14th? Well, let me explain. When we go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 32, Jesus says, "Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branches has already become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that it is near, at the doors. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only." Now you must learn the parable of the fig tree. Jesus is prophesying about the rebirth of Israel that came to be in May 14th, 1948, when it was reestablished as a nation and the Jewish people returned back to their land. This past Sunday, Israel celebrated its 75th year anniversary since becoming a nation in 1948. Now look what Jesus says in verse 34. "This generation will by no means pass away till all things take place." Now when we go to Psalms 90 verse 10, it says, "The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years, yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it soon cut off and we fly away." Now Israel turns 80 years old in 2028. Now back to Matthew chapter 24 verse 36, Jesus says, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only." Now people take this verse and just assume we don't know anything because we don't know the day or hour of the return of Christ. But the verses that we just read above, Jesus gives us a prophetic checkpoint. When the rebirth of Israel takes place, that generation will see all things come to pass. And we just read in Psalms 90 verse 10 that a generation is 80 years. And we are soon cut off and we fly away, post-tribulation rapture. Now, how does this tie into the Vatican? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9 verse 27. This is where everybody gets the 7-year tribulation. "Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering." Now some say that the he in Daniel 9:27 is Jesus, and he was cut off halfway through his ministry, and then the other 3.5 years remaining of the 7 was when Stephen was stoned, and then the gospel went out to all the nations. This is simply not true. The he here in Daniel 9:27 is talking about the Antichrist signing a covenant with many. No guessing game or opinions. We know through the fulfillment of prophecy that the little horn Antichrist that Daniel was warning us about is the Vatican. So when they sign a 7-year covenant with many, that's when we arrive at the next prophetic checkpoint. Revelation chapter 17 tells us there will be 8 final popes. And there's been exactly 8 popes since the signing of the Lateran Treaty in 1929 by Pope Pius VI and Mussolini reinstating the Vatican. And on May 14th, 2021, while Israel was celebrating 73 years of independence, the 8th king of Revelation, the Antichrist of Bible prophecy, George Mario Bergoglio, then confirms the covenant with many for 1 week, a 7-year Laudato Si action plan for the world. Pope Francis got into power in 2013. 2 years after, in 2015, he started to promote the Laudato Si agenda. He waited 6 years from 2015 to 2021 to so coincidentally enact this 7-year covenant. In May of 2021, the same year, Israel turned 73, leaving 7 years left on his Laudato Si action plan and 7 years left for Israel to turn 80. Matthew chapter 24 verse 36, Jesus does make it clear. No one knows the day or the... But when we go to Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, it makes it clear that we will know when we have 7 years left, when the Antichrist confirms a covenant with many for 1 week. This took place in 2021. Back to Psalms 90 verse 10, Israel turns 80 in 2028. The same year, the 7-year covenant with many is up, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. Halfway through this covenant, it's going to put us at 2025, and we're going to see the enforcement of the infamous mark of the beast, the Sunday law from the Vatican. The sitting president in 2025, also known as the false prophet, is going to enforce a Sunday law. The rest of the world is going to follow suit. Israel turns 80 in 2028. Laudato Si is up in 2028. I hope you guys are ready to meet God. Happy 75 years, Israel. God is always talking. Are you always listening?